Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance Wrestling. I am your host, Bobby Sampson, joined as always, my man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how are you, buddy?
Doing pretty good yourself,
Good, good, man. Have you ever wondered why I call you the man with the master plan?
because it rhymes.
Well, that too, but do you know where it came from?
No, who?
Well, very similarly to your salute comment from
Hmm.
AC/DC, the master plan is something that came from Oasis.
Oh yeah, the song, yeah, the B sides, yeah, yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know why I associate you with that, but I do. But there you go,
no,
brother.
good,
All
sounds
right.
good.
How are you? How was your weekend?
Not bad, not bad. Yours?
Yeah. Heavy weekend. But we got through it. Everything happened. And yeah, uh
Good.
we're back to normal, man. For the next 20 years, I hope for at least.
Hopefully,
Well,
hopefully.
hopefully, knock on wood. But I mean, just looking at everyone around me, I'm just looking at them all now. I'm like, I think we got another 20, 25 years before we have to do this again. So
Hope so. I hope, sure hope so.
I hope so too, brother. But like I said, I'm just basing it on age. I'm not basing it on accidents or
Yeah,
anything that comes out of the blue. I'm just a steady flow, right? So,
yeah.
all right,
Why?
here we go. Life is back to normal. It's going to take a couple days to kind of get back into the swing of things. But you know what? I can't think of a better way to get back into the swing of things of sitting with my best bro and doing the show.
Let's
Hey, it
do
rhymed
it.
again. It rhymed
Yeah,
again. All right. So
two
this
for two.
weekend we had not much in terms of this and that, but we had two big wrestling shows.
Yeah,
Saturday night, we had Saturday night's main event, and I apologize on the behalf of both of us. Due to circumstances, due to things that were going on personal life wise, we didn't get to the AEW show that happened this weekend either. But we did watch it, and we are here to tell you all about it from our opinion. So why don't we start with Saturday night's main event? The
sounds
show
good.
was only 2 hours long, and it fit in perfectly. Everything fit in perfectly. Everything was quick. It was bang, 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 and then you got the job done. I loved the show.
Mm.
I had no problem with it. I thought all the matches were good for the most part. I mean, but overall, yeah, it delivered, man. And I know you're really happy with how the show went off the air. So, I've been spouting at it. Why don't you tell me all about it?
Yeah, it's good because it's 2 hours. More of their pay-per-views should be like that. Some of them, even 3 hours pay-per-view for WWE is too long, except for like Mania or something like that. I'm glad to see the Drew and Priest thing come to an end. I think we've seen enough of it. It was
Yeah,
a good match, but I think let's bookend that now and let
I
them
think
move
so.
on with something else. I think it's done now.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Drew's taking time off for this.
yeah. It was pretty predictable show as usual, except for the ending of the main event there. Well, the Logan Paul and Jey Uso match. One thing I noticed about that match, the first thing that jumps off the top of my head is how slow Jey Uso is. How slow he runs. All his movements are so slow. And then you see Logan Paul hitting the ropes and running and jumping. Just a far, far superior athlete than Jey Uso. I'm not saying Logan's a better worker. He's a much, much better athlete. Way quicker, way faster, just more smooth in his movements. Jey is really slow. I mean, Jey is almost 40. So one thing that I noticed, but it was a good match besides that. And a lot of people don't know, well, maybe you know, that wasn't supposed to be Logan Paul and John Cena in that match, that tag team match. That was supposed to be John Cena and Travis Scott versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. The problem is Travis Scott hasn't been showing up to all of his training sessions with Booker T. Here's the problem with Triple H and the problem with Bruce Pritchard and Nick Khan. When WCW brought in celebrities, they were actually real athletes. Karl Malone, world class athlete, world class athlete. He was in the NBA Finals when he's coming in. Dennis Rodman. These guys are some of the best basketball players ever. Athletes. Travis Scott is not an athlete. He is a talented rapper. He's not an athlete. So for them to think that they could get him up to speed to have a match is, I don't know why they were thinking that. So that's why they put Logan Paul in there because Travis Scott isn't trained enough to pull up a half decent match. He wasn't showing up. I don't know why he wasn't showing up to train with Booker T. So they last minute scratched him out of there and then throw Logan in there, which I
Well,
think is a better match anyways. But that's what happened.
I don't know anything about Travis Scott, but I can honestly tell you that his heart's not into it. If things are given to you and just handed to you like that, without any kind of work or kind of respect for the business, I mean, just think about it. The guy punched him in the face, hard style, right? Like, I mean, right
Mm-hmm.
there, then they should have known that that was something they needed to deal with, and they didn't. they reward the guy with the match. I think that's wrong. But
Well, because he's
I'm glad
such
it
a big
worked out that way
superstar.
because at the end of the day, Logan Paul is a better fit for that.
Oh
Now
yeah,
back to the match, what you were saying, I just wanted to mention this. I'm not disagreeing with you in anything you said about Uso being slow, but Uso's 20 years of bumps and
oh yeah.
whatnot,
No, I get it. He's
right?
way
Compared
older.
to 5 matches to Logan. So that's all I'm saying. But
But
yeah,
it just goes to show you the level. Like Jey Uso was never a great athlete. Even if you go back 15 years ago, he was, he was heavier set guy. He's lost a lot of weight. I'll give him that. But he's over. That's all that really matters. Like the fans love him. I'm just saying, in the ring, he's not a great performer. He just
he was
isn't.
never as
But
heavy
he's
set.
he's he's just hot. He's just like popular. He got the eat thing, and I don't blame him for keeping in the belt. But watching him in the ring, he's never going to have as Dave Meltzer would say, a 5-star match. He's just not capable. He's just not a very athletic guy. It just what is what it is. And Logan showed you like how smooth he is in there and stuff. It was a good match though. That's one thing that I noticed. There's a difference of speed, the difference of agility, and obviously youth because Uso's almost 40. So you can see that, like you said, all the bumps and everything adds up too, right? Logan's
Yeah,
fresh. He's only 27, 28.
yeah. And but well, like I said, I mean, I think Raw is moving in, or WWE is moving in the right direction with the young talent. We saw in the opening, which was interesting. This was the opening match, CM Punk, Sami Zayn versus Seth and Braun, and we got. I mean, I'm going to call it the third man, but I mean, we got the third member of this little faction here now in Bronson Reed, which is really cool. I liked it. I didn't expect him to be. We kept throwing out the name of Austin Theory or Trick Williams or this guy or that guy, but no one, I don't
Mhm.
think I didn't anyways, and I don't think you did either, mention Bronson Reed in this conversation. But it's good that he's there, and I kind of like it because he's coming off a feud with Seth Rollins,
Mhm.
right? And he destroyed Seth Rollins to have him in that faction. And to your point, on Raw last night, we're seeing Seth now telling the fans, "Why are you singing my song if you're just going to boo me and use profanity
Mhm.
against me?" Right? So, he's slowly emerging as that individual now. So
They should just say, Seth, we're taking your music off. Stop singing along. Stop orchestrating the crowd. Cut your music off. Come up to nothing. Because there's nothing more than these guys love is to chant, sing Sami Zayn songs and sing Seth Rollins songs. If you're the heel, Seth, cut that off and annoy the people and piss them off. Until then, he's not. The thing with Seth and Cena, they're not actually really hated guys. They're actually loved by the fans. The only guy that's really hated, the number one heel in WWE by far is Logan Paul. He's actually genuinely hated by all those geeks in the crowd. They hate the guy with a passion. They hate how he's made something from YouTube to this, and they could never do that. They hate the guy. So Seth and Cena, they like them. So they're like I'm saying, putting Logan with Cena is a good idea because he's actually the real heel here. Cena's not really the heel, although he's playing it. It's just not believable. That's the problem.
um
Logan's the best heel they got because they can't stand the guy. He gets
yeah.
death threats online. He's how serious these are 35-year-old men watching grown men fight in tights. And they're DMing Logan. They have telling they want to kill him and do all these crazy things to him because that's how much they hate the guy. So over he is.
He's very hateable though. Both
Exactly. That's
both
what I'm saying.
both off the
That's what I'm
screen
saying.
and on the screen, he's
But
very hateable.
Seth is obnoxious and he's a bit annoying. But Seth is not a heel because the way he dresses and hit his music, cut the music out, make him a heel. So I don't see Seth to me is not believable as a heel until they can that music.
Well, let's see, man, how they evolve the program here. But I mean, he's already making marks at it and making remarks about it. So let's see where this progresses to. All right, John Cena, R-Truth. We want to talk about a guy who's slow. That was a slow match. That was
Yeah.
a
Oh yeah.
slow, methodical match, right?
Hmm.
I thought that it was going to be a squash, and it truly was a squash to a certain extent. I mean, for the most part, it was all Cena.
Yeah.
You had the moments where R-Truth just kept like I thought it was funny that he came out to the same music, dressed up as John Cena, doing the whole hustle,
Hmm.
loyalty, respect kind of entrance, playing off of that, using the move set, doing all of that kind of things. But at the end of the day, it was a squash match, man. It was basically just this could have been done on Raw. Honestly, two of these matches could have been on Raw. The U.S. Women's Title match could have been on Raw, or on SmackDown, and this could have been on SmackDown if they really wanted to. But
The only problem with this match, like it was a comedy match, like to have R-Truth out there for a little bit of comic relief on Saturday night's main event. I get it. We all knew he had zero chance of winning. You're never gonna let R-Truth beat John Cena. It's never gonna happen. That's fantasy thinking. The thing is that I don't mind having R-Truth on like a big match, but it's like if Cena only has a few matches left, do you want to waste one with R-Truth? I don't think so. He had zero chance winning. That's my only problem. I like R-Truth. He's hilarious, do the comedic act. Maybe that's just his getting a thank you from everybody. Hey, thank you for all your years. We're going to put you on a big show on main event. But he had zero chance of winning it, so I don't quite understand why they did it.
Well, they
I've
did
seen
it.
it
They did it.
before,
It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was a fun match to
but
watch.
it's a
I
waste
enjoyed
of a
it.
match. If Zena has limited dates and bookings, you don't give R-Truth a match. He just is not on that level. It just is what it is. So I
Yeah.
don't understand the booking. But then I realized something. When I've been watching these shows, they don't really have logical storylines. They just throw stuff out there for the pop. It's all about the pop now. Example: last night, what did we see? We saw the Wyatt Six comes out. Why did they come out? Only because it's Bray's birthday. But nobody knew it was Bray's birthday coming up until they told you that after. Why didn't they tease Bray's birthday, then have these guys come out? There's no storyline with the Wyatt Six. So last time we saw those guys, they're getting beaten up by Karrion Kross's crew. So
Yeah.
they got
Well,
the
they
butt
just
kicked, wiped them off TV, totally killed them. And all of a sudden, hey, let's all pop for them. Here's Bray's birthday. And they're killed, they're buried, they're never gonna get over now because whoever booked that way last time with Karrion Kross's crew, whatever they were called, they buried Wyatt Sixes. So it's all about the pop now, it seems to me. It doesn't seem like they're making much sense a lot. It's just about getting that quick pop and getting that dopamine high that they hear backstage in the gorilla position or the performers hear it from the fans. These fans will share anything, man. It's crazy.
they're pretty fickle bunch of crew,
I
man,
mean,
out there.
yeah,
But no, overall, what do you think of the show? What would you give it?
it wasn't bad. It was good. It wasn't
Yeah,
bad.
I give it an 8 out of 10 just because it just flowed so nicely,
Okay.
and for me, a good show is a show that when I look at my watch and realize, oh shit, it's only this
Mhm.
time. That for me is a good show.
Yeah.
That tells me it's a good show. The crowd was into it. Everything worked out well. Jesse was not happy with the finish of the steel cage match.
Thank you for bringing up Jesse. He is, even at his age of whatever he is, early 70s, mid 70s, he is so much better than Pat McAfee. He's way more witty with his words. It just sounds a little more authentic, a little more genuine when Jesse's saying these things. McAfee just sounds so corny all the time. So it was nice to have Jesse out there. He's still better than Pat McAfee, 40 years older than the guy.
But
That's one thing that I
apparently,
know.
from what I'm understanding, that Jesse wasn't very like his. That was actually a shoot almost for him
Sounded
out
like it.
there, complaining about how Damien just walked out of the cage. But
Yeah.
I think it's kind of fitting because he almost kind of it's kind of like I'm just walking away from this. I'm done with you. I finished you. I'm done. Like you said, you wanted to bookend it. This is a great way of bookending it.
Mhm.
Damien just walking away.
I think with Jesse, he's sitting there watching this show and he can't believe what he's seeing because it's so ridiculous and it doesn't make sense a lot of the times. And he's saying the quiet part out loud. So I'm glad he did that.
Well,
So
he
he
is,
really
man.
doesn't
For a guy who hates Vince
because
McMahon,
McAfee is so corny. I
for
find the
a
guy super
man
corny.
for a man who has nothing but disdain for Vince McMahon and hostility for McMahon, the only reason he's here is because he's not here,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's by choice. It's not like just Vince ever never tried to bring him back or anything himself,
Mhm.
but it's just kind of like even he has to kind of realize, I guess now,
So,
maybe we need Vince a little bit more or something like a Vince or a
yeah, to
Vince kind of
keep the
mentality.
law in order. Yep.
Right. So, I mean, like I said before, man, and we've talked about it. Are we really starting to see like even these woke motherfuckers, part of my language,
Mhm.
out there, everything should be equal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
You Even they have to, chew on some cud here or,
They're
whatever the
starting to realize,
case is.
uh-oh. Yeah.
Like, there's if this is what we're getting and this is what people are complaining about, then what do you want? You don't want the old man back. You don't want this guy back. Then what do you want? What do you
Exactly.
people want?
Another thing they're pissed off about is WrestleMania pulling out from New Orleans and going back to Vegas. That's all TKO right there. The fans are choked about that.
No, fans are choked about it. Wrestling promotions are choked about it because tickets haven't been on sale. Nothing's on sale. No one's lost any money. The only people that are pissed off about it right now online are other organizations and companies that are trying to book facilities because they got to book now in order to
Mhm.
get their spot for their indie shows, for their Comic Con. Like that Comic Con people or Wrestling Con are upset because they booked space in New Orleans.
Mhm.
Right now they're screwed. Like how they're scrambling. Like WrestleMania is a year away, man. But it just shows you how far advanced that these companies have to book in order to be in the same town as them, right? So
Yeah.
those are the people that are complaining. I don't think the fans are complaining per se, unless you're in New
It,
Orleans,
it makes,
right?
I don't mind it. It makes, I mean, the thing about WrestleMania is supposed to travel to each different city. so everybody gets a piece of it. To have Vince McMahon, I don't think would ever go back to back in the same city year to year. But I get it why they do it in Vegas. They got all the arenas there, all the hotels, all the convention centers. You can do all your stuff, have your WWE store, have meet and greet. There's so much space there, and it's an entertainment capital of the world. So I don't blame them necessarily for that. I get
Now,
it.
now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was WrestleMania 4 and 5? I think that was the last one in my memory. 4 and 5 were held in Vegas or in Atlantic City, in Trump country,
Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah, maybe it's been a
right?
while. Was
Well,
it
I
back to
think if
back?
there
Can't
was
remember.
another one that was a back to back, it would have been. I think it was that one. It was 4 and 5
Could be right.
in Atlantic City at the Trump whatever casino or whatever it
Yeah, the
was.
Trump Plaza. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh
think that
yeah.
was the last time. But look, you know what? Let's just be realistic. First off, in my opinion, I think WrestleMania, for the most part, because they want to do these stadium shows, they need to do it like the Super Bowl. You can't have it in New York at the beginning of April at Met Stadium because it's cold,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Like what did they do a couple of years ago where they were all wearing winter jackets because it was still so cold out?
That's why you're never gonna have it in Seattle. They don't want it raining on the Super Bowl day,
Well,
right?
no, dude, they can shut the roof.
No, Lumen Stadium doesn't shut in Seattle. It's open.
No, but they could do it at the baseball diamond. They did 17 there or
No, they won't have.
18.
They won't have. No. I'm saying that's why you'll never see the Super Bowl in Seattle because it rains.
No, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, the Super
So
Bowl.
they go to fair
Super
weather.
Bowl.
They go to fair
Yeah,
weather
yeah, yeah,
places.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
they're not
But
going to come back to Seattle again. There's not enough people to
well,
come
there
over
is,
there.
man. I mean, people travel far and wide for it. I mean, even if
No,
you do
I'm saying
have
I
enough
don't think Safeco feels big enough anymore for it. It's gotten a little bit bigger than
68,
10 foot.
68,000, man, 70,000,
Yeah,
and
I
they're
guess.
easy. They can do it.
I think when we went it was 58,000. But yeah, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
68, 70. I mean, a lot of manias end up to be 68 to 70,000 anyways, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and think about it. The baseball field, it fills right up, and then you basically have their old field that you fill in. So
hmm
they can do it there if they wanted to. But I know what you're saying, right? I'm probably
Yeah,
not,
they
not,
could,
not
but
at,
there's not a lot around there. They want now they're doing it so much bigger now. They do all these fan
yeah,
festivals.
yeah,
They
yeah.
do all the other shows
But
with
it
it.
probably costs a lot of
NXT.
money too, right? So,
Yeah,
but you know what? Ultimately, I mean, Vegas works. Like, here's the way I
yeah,
look at it.
it makes sense.
Honestly, I think the wrestlers like it better. I think it's better for production. I think it's better for everyone ultimately because in the sense that, and we're going to talk about the next show here, AEW. They did their Double or Nothing this weekend, right?
hmm
And I'm just bringing up my notes here on this show here. Yeah, Double or Nothing 25. It was held in Phoenix. It was in Arizona this weekend.
Yeah.
And for a 4 hour show, that's not bad because when I was tuning in, yeah, the crowd was still lit for that last match.
Yeah.
Because it was still early in the evening. What if this was on the East Coast and
Well, it
that
was on
match
East
was
Coast
going
if
on
you're
till
watching it.
12:30? You know what I mean? That
Well,
pay-per-views.
there was people on the East Coast up there all night watching this, man.
Well, this is the thing, right? Like some of the guys that I kind of roll with in the roundtables, they're based out of Kentucky and Detroit.
Oh,
You know,
they're up. They watched the whole thing. They're up
and
all
I
night.
asked them, like, dude, how do you guys manage this? Like, it's a Sunday night. Don't you have to work Monday morning and you're watching the show till like 12:30 at night, man? It's heavy. Like we take for
Come on.
granted sometimes on the West Coast how lucky we are, right?
I
Um,
could see if you record the last couple hours of it and watching the next day, but like to sit up to 12:30 at night
no. And I'm
sounds
sure a
too
lot of
late.
them do it that way, but I mean, you get those guys who are like, up there till 12:30. Same with UFC. I mean, we get it here at 7 o'clock. The main card doesn't start till 10.
Exactly.
Right? So I mean, it's kind of shitty for a lot of those guys out there. But all right, AEW Double or Nothing. This was the second show of the weekend. This show started at 4 o'clock with all the pre-matches. Went till about 9:30 at night.
You couldn't pay me to watch those pre-matches on those shows. No way.
Well, I don't think anyone could get paid to do it, man. But
Oh,
overall, what do you
man.
think of the show, man?
It's too long again. It's too long. It's over 4 hours. Like, and that Nigel McGuinness match was 22. I timed it. It was 22 minutes. That's way
Yeah.
too long for those two guys to go out there. They only need 10 to 12 minutes. Like, I don't need to sit there and watch Nigel McGuinness for 22 minutes. It wasn't even that great of a match. And that's the thing I don't like about AEW. I understand what Tony Khan's trying to do. He's trying to make every match is epic. Every match is just like a 5-star match. But every match doesn't need to be 22 minutes. Sometimes an 8-minute, 10-minute match is as good as a 22-minute match.
But if they
Especially these
want to
guys keep doing
learn,
the same moves over and over.
if they want to learn from WWE, they need to establish this formula. What we have here are spot fest after spot fest after spot fest after spot fest. This is the way
Oh
I
yeah.
see it, right? and it's basically there's no psychology, there's no rhyme or rhythm to what they're doing in there in terms of building the story. I mean, they are, but they're not. But they're just it's
Yeah,
just too much. It's just way too much per match, and
it's too much wrestling.
it's too much wrestling. And like I said, I mean, it's just too much of everything. But let's break it down a little bit here. Let's start with the
Okay.
Anarchy in the Arena match: Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, Willow Nightingale,
Hmm.
and Samoa Joe Will Hobbs against Shibata, the Death Riders, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Marina Schaefer, and the Young Bucks, man. Um, we've seen this match time and time again. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
know how much more they can do. The exploding table spot by Kenny Omega was kind of cool. I'll give it that
Yeah, that
one.
was a good spot.
But for the most part, this match was basically what it was. I mean, Claudio doing the giant spin on Swerve and throwing him into the speakers was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, the match was what it was, man. And I mean, it's really hard to follow anything after that much with that much plunder and everything. What were your thoughts on the match?
When it was fourth thread, I thought, I don't know about this match. It wasn't bad, actually. There's some good, like you said, there's some good spots there. It wasn't bad. One of the better matches on the card, probably.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of action, a lot of big bumps. Like you said, the table spot was cool. They had forklifts coming out there. They had all kinds of stuff going on. It's anarchy. It was anarchy. Guys are
yeah.
all over the place. It's hard
The
for the
drowning
cameraman.
pool.
Yeah, it's just hard for the cameraman to keep up with it. So we've seen this before, but it's a nice change of pace on an AEW card when we're just seeing two guys in their undies wrestle for 20 minutes every time. So this I thought was like the second was like a third match or something it was.
Yeah,
Broke the pace, changed the pace up. It was actually relief to see some sort of more entertaining stuff, so to
yeah.
speak. And I didn't mind it. I have no complaints about it. Like, yeah, I thought there was some good spots. For
All
what it
right.
was, all those guys wasn't bad.
No, no, it wasn't bad at all. And so Kenny and the team, walk out victorious on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. All right. We've shit on this woman so much, and she just keeps having banger after. Like, if there was one match on this card that really, really stood out, it would have been Mercedes Monet versus Jamie Hayter in the Owen Hart tournament finals. What a
Mm-hmm.
match! That match was solid. Mercedes can't talk on the mic. I would never give her a mic. I let her have a mouthpiece, someone to do the talking for her.
Mm-hmm.
But this girl can go, and Jamie Hayter can go. Like, these two girls put on a hell of a match. Like women's wrestling or not, you got to give credit where credit is due. One of the best matches of the night was here right now.
Yeah, it was a good match. I think what it was when Monet first came to AEW, she wasn't very good at all. So the criticism was valid. It was warranted. She wasn't good. However, whatever it is, all the online haters you want to call them, whatever, she must have heard what they were saying because she's definitely the last year or so really upped her game, and she's the best women wrestler they have. And it was a good match. I can't knock it. So she's rolling right now. She's just in that zone.
But
Everything that
dude,
she's doing, all of her matches are just rolling for the last
she's
year or so.
she's been TBS woman now for over a year. So it shows you how long she's been in the company now, eh? It's already
Mm-hmm.
a year than she's been here.
Yeah,
Weird.
no, yeah.
Doesn't feel
At
like it.
first, everybody's like, and I said it too, and I still think he overpaid for her, because but she's putting on good matches, so at least he's getting some of his money back. And hey, man, she put on a good match. I
No,
can't,
she
I
put
can't
in
knock her
great
for that.
matches. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of people, I'm not one to really go online a lot, but some of the stuff that I did read about this is that people are calling this match of the year, potentially match
Yeah.
of the year of all matches, sort of a deal. Definitely women's match of the year so far. And you know what? The funny thing is, since January, two or three of her matches, we already said that this potentially could be women's match of the year. This girl's having match of the year after match of the year after
I have
match
to
of the
say
year.
it right, and right now I'll give AEW credit where credit is due. Their women's division is outperforming the WWE's women's division right now.
Nah, I
That
disagree
match,
with that.
that match we just saw is better than any women's match we've seen so far from anybody in WWE.
I think overall, I
So,
think the women in WWE are better. But I mean, this
well,
particular,
they
yeah,
showcased them more in WWE, but like we just said, right now, I think so far Monet it's only half the year, but Mercedes Monet has outperformed them.
yeah, no, she's done a great job, and she gets now. This is the match I've been looking forward to. This match I've
Mhm.
been wanting to watch. Her and Tony Storm are finally going to tangle,
Yeah,
and this is going to be fun because I mean, what do you do here now? Does Monet stay strong and take the strap off of her, and then Monet's completely got like six titles, or does Tony Storm finally break her? I'm looking forward to it.
I think Tony Storm's going to break her, but you never know
Tony,
with Tony. But I would assume that Tony Storm just to get her hot, get her going.
But
You
she's
would
doing
think.
great, man. I mean, she had a great match here tonight as well. She fought Mina Sakara. I mean, it was a great match between the two of them. I love Tony Storm's kind of fighting out from the ashes sort of a style. It was great.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it as well. So both women matches were really good. All right, let's move on to this one here. We had AEW Tag Team Championship match, the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sonny Guevara versus the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. You know what? This was probably, and I hate to say it, in my opinion, this was the weakest match on the card. They had no chemistry.
that or the O'Reilly match. I wasn't a big fan of either
Well,
one of
okay,
those.
either way, but this,
Yeah, it wasn't
my
great.
takeaway from this was there was no chemistry.
No, there's not. They just threw it together.
No chemistry at all. And the one thing that I did appreciate was the psychology that Bobby did show, because struggling to kick out of Sammy's finisher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, based on everything that we saw in that match and whatnot, it just that psychology that he showed to keep it strong, sort of a deal, right?
He's
But
doing
I
his
mean,
best.
at the end of the day, this wasn't a great match. And if anything, I'm just looking at MJF here. This will probably turn him into a face again. I have a feeling.
It seems that way. Like they'll beat
Right?
him up, kick him out of the crew, and then he'll go face. Yeah, it could be. That might be the way they're going with it. He
Yeah,
doesn't fit
yeah.
in with the crew. It just doesn't seem natural. It doesn't seem like.
It
And I'm
didn't
not saying
seem
that because
natural at all.
I'm not saying that because he's white and they're black. It just they don't. It doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit
And to
with
me,
his, but because of the way he acts and his demeanor,
mm,
he just doesn't fit in that crew. It's just kind of
no,
like, I hate to say it, but he's like the token white guy in the
yeah,
crew.
it doesn't work. It's not really working.
It's
I
almost
mean, I
like
guess it
having
was an
him.
all right idea, but
It's almost like having him in the car, so if they get pulled over, they won't get in trouble.
yeah. And to me, you're wasting Bobby Lashley with this. I think the Hurt Syndicate is a good crew, but you're wasting him on mid card tag team matches. Put him up with the big, like, well, he is the biggest guy, but put him up there, with the Moxley guys and Hangmans and Will Ospreys. He's almost 50. He's a best athlete on your rosters. He's got the best build. He's got a great look. He
Again,
dresses
this
great. Let him fight at the top of the card. You're wasting this guy's talent. Bobby Lashley is not a mid carder. He's definitely above a
no,
mid carder.
hey man, I'm
I
telling you,
can't
and this
understand
is
it.
this. If we go back a couple, maybe 30, 40 episodes when Bobby showed up here, did I
Mhm.
say to you that my only fear of him is they're not going to use him properly and he's going to
He's
get stuck
lost in
in
the
the
shuffle
mid
now.
card?
Yeah,
Right? He didn't even get lost in the shuffle. They didn't even allow him to go in the shuffle. He's never been at the main event level.
I
Why
know.
is Powerhouse Hobbs in that Anarchy match? It should have been Bobby or someone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you got to push him up. They're not doing it. And the longer they take, the less it's going to be impossible for him to put him up there. Because even when they do, who's going to take him seriously?
I know. I know. It's a shame.
Like, that dude can you can line up all the roster and he'll beat every single one of them in a gauntlet match.
Oh, hands down. Hands down.
Right? And they're not using him properly. Here's another match that I wasn't too keen on, and wasn't sure about. Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet in his retro match. Eh, it was
Lots of
okay.
blood, lots of violence, I guess, if that's what you're looking
It
for.
is, but I
Again, a
mean,
bit of
the
a
whole
change of
night
pace.
was blood and violence. That's the one thing. See, I wish AEW would use their logic and kind of spread this shit out. Like, you can't have so much plunder in one match and then go to the next match and have that much plunder again. It takes away from it all,
Yeah,
right?
I know the flow of it.
Right? It takes away from the flow, and you're like, okay, we're seeing this again. And it's kind of hard to follow a match like that. Like, it took a long time for the crowd to get into some of these matches, right? Like, no one was really into the Lashley match until near the end,
Pretty much. Yeah, it was like a filler.
right? And same with the stretcher match as well. Now, let's talk about another match that really didn't need to be on this card. I mean, okay, the stretcher match, in my opinion, the tag team match didn't need to be on this card, nor did this match. Daniel Garcia, Nigel McGuinness, which we talked about a little bit earlier,
22 minutes.
against
Absolute sleeper.
FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler. Why?
Maybe if they would have done 10, 12 minutes, they could have put all that stuff in 10 to 12 minutes and be done with it. 22 minutes of that is just way too long. Way too long.
No, fair enough, fair enough. And same with this one here, man. Paragon, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly, against Don Callis family, Josh Alexander, Kyle Fletcher, and Katsuyori Tashika. Now, here's a guy in Kyle Fletcher who was just at the top of the world, and look where he is now.
Yeah, he was just fighting Will Ospreay. Now he's lost in the shuffle again.
Right? So like, what were your thoughts on this match? Again, I just didn't think there was any chemistry. I mean, they got their stuff in. It was a good looking match, but I mean, overall, I didn't give it too much thought.
I think they're setting up to have a Kyle Fletcher versus Adam Cole match here. What I think is
Probably.
going to happen coming out of this. I mean, it was all right. These guys are all decent wrestlers.
Well, I
It,
mean,
it just it didn't have a lot of psychology. It didn't have a lot of. I didn't know. I didn't even know why this match was made. I don't know what the story was. I just saw a bunch of small guys. I hate to say that because I do like Kyle O'Reilly, but it's a bunch of small guys wrestling. And what I got from it is we're probably going to see Kyle Fletcher versus Cole down the
yeah,
line. I don't know though. Other than that, it
probably in
was all
Dallas.
right. Yeah, it was all
Probably for
right.
All In. All right.
Yeah.
Now, if the women's match with Monet and Jamie Hayter wasn't the match of the night, then this had to be the other Owen Hart Memorial Men's Final. Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay. This match was amazing. Loved it. All of
Best
it.
match of the night by far.
The psychology, this had everything that all the other matches lacked. Psychology, good spots, good interaction,
Great intensity too.
great intensity, and great filler. And when I'm talking
Mhm.
about fillers, I'm talking about throwing into the rope, a clothesline, this and that, all the stuff that builds up to your spot. You know what I mean? All of it was done solidly. I had no problem with the match. Um,
And like I said in the last show, Hangman Page would win this match. He had to win the match because you
yeah,
want to. Will Ospreay doesn't matter really if he wins or loses. He's so good in the ring.
yeah,
Where every time he's on his show, 9 times out of 10, he's the best match. So
no,
he
one hundred
doesn't need to
percent.
win this match. So that was good booking by Tony Khan by giving that match to Hangman Page. He needs that rub. He needs the heat. It was a good match, man. They went at it, and they stole the show by far.
So they totally did, bro, and I loved it. I thought it was a great, great match. Now I'm going to say one thing, and then I'm going to give you the floor. Just like Tom Hanks said, in a league of their own, but I'm going to switch one word around. There's no crying in wrestling. Take it away, Mr. Chance Michaels.
you know, the character that Hangman's
So,
going
so
for, right?
before I start, the
Yeah, I
fact
know,
that
I
you
know.
closed your eyes.
Yeah, he's going for that, like, the cowboy. He's got the '80s look with the mustache, leather jacket. I like his gimmick. I like the way he looks. You know, the thing about him is like sometimes nobody's saying never to cry. Your dad dies, grandma dies, people cry. I get that. Nobody's saying men don't cry. We're not saying that. Shawn Michaels' boyhood dream, yeah, maybe you could see that a special story. There was a story into that. Okay. But now, fast forward the clock 30 years later, we're seeing grown men who are supposed to be super tough guys all the time crying now. From Cody Rhodes. Yeah, you're seeing CM Punk in the ring tearing up. And now you're seeing this cowboy tough guy
Beer
at
drinking.
the cowboy horse riding guy
Yeah.
who's supposed to be a tough guy. He's at a press conference and he's crying. Mamby pamby sissy whiny stuff. You just beat a guy.
Sorry, say that again.
Mamby pamby sissy whiny stuff.
What
So
the?
my boxing coach has it all the time to these guys. So you didn't need to cry like that. You could be emotional, but you got to keep your tears in because now the tough guy image that you're selling is not believable anymore. Because now we know you're sensitive and that you're soft and that you're going to cry. Now, some other guys say, oh, no, men cry. I'm not saying that men don't cry, but if that's the character you're playing, you've broke your character. Nobody can take you seriously. I'm going to look at him different now. You just beat Will Ospreay. You should be saying, yeah, I beat this guy. I'm the best. I got. Look at this. Look at me. I'm a little guy. Nobody thought I could do it.
And
And here you are
considering
sitting there crying.
and considering he's going up against a Savage and John Moxley, who's void of any tears.
Yeah.
You talk about a guy who's
No,
living the gimmick.
no, all Moxley has to say is, you know what? You can't stand with me. You sit there and cry like a little baby. And they should have it. They won't because Tony Khan won't let him do that.
Well, no, I mean,
Um,
if they're smart, Moxley throws that into his primo or promos, right?
such a great match. I like Hangman as a performer, Osprey obviously, but then to have him cry after that, to me, I don't want to say overshadows the match, but it takes away from it.
At
It just doesn't.
least it
I don't
happened at
like
the
it.
press conference, and I don't know how many people go to those media scrums and watch them. That's what I'm saying. At least it didn't
Well,
happen
it's
in the
all on
ring.
YouTube though.
No, I appreciate that, but like I said, it's one of those media scrum things, right? Like how many people are tuning in to watch that stuff?
I know you can't compare the two because obviously this guy is one of the greatest athlete ever to come into wrestling. When Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker streak, you didn't see Brock Lesnar sitting there crying. You know what I mean? He got up, he cheered on, and he went on with it because he's the tough guy image. I know Cole's not even or Hangman Page not even close to that level, but still, you're trying to portray that cowboy, tough beer drinking. I'm going to ride a horse, leather tassels, and then you're sitting there crying when you beat another grown man.
Yeah,
You know,
no, I'm gonna
doesn't fit
agree
with
with you.
it doesn't fit with the character image that he's going for.
Well, I mean, it kind of plays right
So now
into.
he's gonna come out on Dynamite and cry again.
Well, I don't know, dude. I mean, it just plays out into this whole what this generation is about now, right?
That's what. No, I know.
Right. Like, look, don't get me wrong. You're right. Men do cry. We
Yeah, no, I'm not
cry,
saying that, but when you're playing a
right?
tough guy in wrestling, you don't do that.
I think though, once you pass your 70s or when you get into your 80s, men tend to cry a bit more. They get more emotional,
Oh yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's
right?
totally different.
You know,
Yeah,
that's a different thing. Like, I'm
but
gonna
not a
be trans.
35-year-old tough guy in
Like,
wrestling.
look, I'll be transparent with you, bro. Like, I don't know why I am the way I am. Like I, we both lost our fathers,
Hmm.
right? I don't know about yourself because I've never asked you, but I can tell you, I didn't cry.
Hmm.
I didn't cry at all. I didn't cry when my grandmother died. I didn't cry when my grandfather died this week. I'm
Yeah,
not a crier that way. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I kind of question myself a little bit. Like, am I cold? Do I not have any emotion?
yeah, I
And
know
I'm
what you're
just
saying.
not. I'm just don't cry. I don't know what it is, but I can understand why some people do. I get it, but
Yeah, I'm
you
not saying
know,
that in the grand scheme of life, but like you just want a good, great match. You're coming out there as a tough guy, looking like a tough guy, and the next thing you know, great match, by the way, both guys, match of the night, and then you're backstage at a press conference, bawling your eyes out.
if you're gonna have
I get it,
emotion,
and
I feel that if you're gonna have emotion, this is where kayfabe needs to still exist.
mhm,
I get it. We're in the world of the fourth wall crumbling. We're in the world of complete transparency now,
yeah,
right? But I think if you're gonna have that kind of emotion, if you're guys, anyways, girls, it's different.
yeah,
And I'm not being sexist. It's just it is what it is,
mhm,
right? Girls will tend to start crying quicker than men in any given day,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
right? So, but I think if you're gonna have that emotion, which you should be able to have, I'm not saying you can't,
Mhm.
go backstage and have that moment,
Yeah, let that out and then come out.
right? Sit on a box and one of those kind of studio boxes or carrier cases that they have in the back. Sit
Mhm.
down, have your moment, shake it off, and be
Exactly.
hangman again.
And then Cole's response, Paige's response would be, well, I worked my whole life for this and I got here and nobody thought I could have been a little guy. And he would sell that. And I get that, dude. Fine. Then go backstage, get it together for a couple minutes, do
Yeah,
that, and then come out. You
yeah,
just
yeah.
lost the whole tough guy cowboy image now.
And then, dude, you can even sell that like I'm the little guy. I'm this.
Yeah.
I'm the best in the world. Just with that
Yeah.
aggression, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
totally, totally. I agree. All right.
But
Overall,
great
I
match,
would
though.
give.
Great match.
Okay, so two great matches, hands down. Anarchy match was pretty good. The
That
rest
was
of
all
it
right.
was okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it
Not bad overall.
no, not bad
Too long.
overall, but I'm gonna still give it a 6.57 because again, it was too long, and a
Hmm.
lot of those matches didn't have to be 20 plus minutes.
Yeah.
Take nothing away from the matches; they all worked really hard. They all worked really well.
I'll say
Um,
one thing.
yeah,
I always used to say for the last little bit that last couple years that AEW did have a better commentating team. I almost think their stick is getting a little bit stale. I'm getting tired of hearing Excalibur all the time. Maybe bring another commentator out and switch it up, kind of like WWE. They got Cole, they got Joe Tessitore. Switch it up. Maybe Collision somebody else. Maybe pay per view somebody else. Switch it up more. I don't want
no,
to
I
hear Caliber all
appreciate
the
that,
time.
but see,
He
that's
doesn't.
the
He
one
just
thing.
doesn't have a lot of emotion. I don't know.
Well, AEW, if they find one thing that like just like yourself, for long for the last couple of years, anyways, I can recall you saying that AEW has the best team,
But yeah, they did.
right?
Yeah.
Now, if that being said, I'm sure they're seeing that because if you're saying that, then there's a lot of people out there who are saying it, right?
Hmm.
They won't change it until people start shitting on it
Hmm. I don't
because
like
all
the three-man booth. It's too crowded.
it
Because
is,
you
it
got
is, it is.
Shivani.
I
So
think
who's calling the
honestly,
match? Is
for
Shivani calling
me,
the match or is Caliber calling the match? We
well,
don't know.
I look at it this way: you should have Shivani on one and Excalibur on the other.
Just split it up.
You shouldn't have two play-by-play guys and one
Huh.
color guy.
Exactly.
Have a two-man booth. I think Taz, I think Taz and Shivani would work great together because they have that same kind of
Yeah.
chemistry. And I think McGinnis and Excalibur would work better on Collision
Yeah.
as a
Three-man booth is
two-man
too
booth.
crowded because everybody wants to get their stuff in and you always can't. Sometimes they're talking over each other or there'll be a dead spot because they don't know who's going to go next. Like, it just doesn't flow.
Well, a lot of times I'm watching it, like when they're supposed to be calling the action, no one's saying a word, like you
They
said.
don't know who's going to jump in, right? That's the
Yeah,
thing. So they need to
right.
change that.
So they missed that all up in that. All right, brother, man. I tell you what, I think we covered it all here. Not much
Yeah.
happening otherwise, news wise, but I mean, um, Michin had a nip slip on SmackDown on Friday. So for
Hmm.
you guys out there looking for a cheap pop, all you gotta do is go on the internet and find it, and yeah,
Okay.
you can see a little bit of that. What else is happening off the top of my head? Alexa Bliss, man, I loved it. I love what she's doing. She's back.
Yeah,
She's
she's
in full
back. Yeah.
effect. And I think the Wyatt Six is going to play into her now as well. So we're going to start to see the development of that story. I think she might be taking over the Wyatt Six as one of the prominent figures.
Possible.
Liv is back, and you got Roxanne Perez in there stirring trouble up in the clubhouse now. So let's see what happens there as
My
well.
last complaint about Raw is the last 2 weeks we've seen the same sort of ending. We've seen CM Punk come out at the very end and do the thing for that cheap pop. So I hope we don't see that 3 weeks in a row. We don't need him to come out every time at the end of the show. It's too
I'm
predictable
just
now.
wondering where Roman is, man. I think is he really farming with Brock?
He's no, he's doing some sort of fighting thing.
Yeah.
Training.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, brother man. I tell you what, I think the little princess is in the background looking for the boss man himself. If you want to say hello,
You say
hi,
hi?
baby girl. Welcome to the show. You're on Samp&Chance. Who's your favorite wrestler?
Norman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Wow, you look so pretty today. Where are you going?
Today at ballet class.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Hopefully, Daddy will take some pictures and
It was
footage so we can see you dancing. All right, little baby girl. Let us finish up, and then we'll talk to you soon.
guest appearance.
Guest appearance by the little one herself, man. How's she doing?
Good, good. Just getting ready. Her mom's just getting her ready to. They have a picture day at their dance class and performance thing.
Fantastic,
Couple hours ago.
fantastic. Do you have a lock on your door?
No, I should know. I'm just trying to
Just
get my
thinking.
car keys. So
All good, brother man. Nothing better in this world than having the little ones, the purest of the pure, join the show, right?
yeah,
Children
so,
are innocent, they're honest, and they tell it like it
absolutely,
is,
hundred
right?
percent, 100%.
So, and they always say that God communicates through the children.
Yeah. Here's a fun little wrestling headline. Just throw some entertainment out there. And I haven't looked into it myself, but I was listening to Sirius XM
Sure.
this morning and I heard this. This is so crazy and random. King Kong Bundy and Chris Novoselic, people don't know who that is. That's a bass player from Nirvana. Have actual real heat in real life. So I don't know what
Why?
it's about. I don't. The most random of things. I don't know.
Okay, I
But
tell you what, we
just
will
Google it and
find
figure it
out.
out.
We will
Yeah.
dig up on it a bit more, and next week we'll talk about that. That's really
Mhm.
interesting because Nirvana is one of my favorite bands. I don't understand why the bass player and Bundy would have beef.
The
I'm
big guy.
curious
He's like,
now.
what are you, like 6'7"? Chris Novoselic. He's huge.
Yeah. But
So I don't know.
Bundy's lost a lot of weight though.
Yeah, I haven't seen how he looks lately, but I don't know what their beef is from
That's
back in the
another
day.
guy who's not in the Hall of Fame.
He should be because you know why? Because he said, "Why do we take this so seriously? We're grown men fighting in our underwear, and we take this way too serious." And maybe that rubbed him the wrong way. He's a Hall of Famer. How absolutely he is.
Well, you know what though? I mean, if you're
How
willing
is
to
he not?
go out there, like it's one thing to put yourself out there,
Mm-hmm.
but to do it in your underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got to take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be a fool if you didn't take it seriously if that's what you decided to do with your life.
King Kong Bundy, yeah, King Kong Bundy and Haku need to get into the Hall of Fame. By the standard they have now, they're Hall of Famers.
And considering how close the Rock is to Haku, I'm surprised that never happened.
Maybe you try to lobby for him, and Vinny said no, but I don't know why. He's by
Yeah,
the
but now
if,
Haku
if
needs to be in there. Do they just wait for people to die?
I think he works at a car dealership now. He sells cars or something like that.
Probably just something like that, man. Those guys didn't make the money these guys are making. Even the
No,
lowest card guys are making enough to survive off of not
yeah.
having to do anything for the rest of their life if they're smart. But the other problem with a lot of these older wrestlers, they didn't know how to manage their money,
Well, there you go.
right? And the ones that did are okay,
Mm-hmm.
are doing okay. And for the most part, most of these guys, I hate to say it, they didn't know, and there was no one there to show them.
Mm. And one more thing, isn't Money in the Bank in like 2 weeks or something like that?
Money in the Bank is June 7th, I believe.
So yeah, 2 weeks.
So we got Worlds Collide, the AAA, which WWE's got their fingerprints all over now.
Mm-hmm.
You can really see that they didn't even waste any time taking it over. You're getting Chad Gable on that card, that Worlds Collide card.
But who's writing for the show? I wonder though.
Pardon?
I wonder who's in charge of the show. Like who's writing for it?
I think a lot of their guys are still doing it, but WWE is overseeing a lot of it, right?
Yeah, final say.
And then they're really throwing Alberto Del Rio under the bus, eh? They
No, why
want
no
him out
problem.
of there.
Yeah.
He's the current champion of AAA,
hmm
but he's going to lose the title to the guy that Chad Gable's fighting. So they already made the spoiler saying he's going to lose the title to this guy, and then Chad Gable's going to fight him later on in July.
Wow. I don't think Alberto's too happy, but maybe he is. I don't know.
Well, they didn't like the guy. They didn't want him around. They got rid of him because of
They
all
don't
the
know.
shit that he did with Paige, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't want to keep him around. He's very abusive. He's very,
No, he's not a good guy.
no. So, poor Alberto. If WWE keeps buying everyone up, this guy's gonna have nowhere left to work.
Off the AEW go. They probably not Tony Khan probably wouldn't take him either though. Not with his
No, I
not
wouldn't be
with his
surprised.
background.
Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. All right, brother man, let's
Already.
wrap this baby up. I know you got another hit to make here in the next 5 minutes or so. So my name is Bobby Sampson. His name is Mr. Chance Michaels.
But in the words of the great ACDC, those that download and like, subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you, ladies and gentlemen. Hard work, patience, and faith. That's all that you need to succeed. It takes time. That's where faith and patience comes in. You can control your hard work. You can control your emotions through your faith. But you got to work hard with patience, man. Not everything happens overnight. I've never met a person who planted an apple tree seed and have fruit grow out of it that summer.
Exactly.
It can take years.
Yep.
Before you get the fruit of your labor. And guys and gals, that's what it takes. And that's how you become successful, unless you win the lottery. Right?
Yep.
So
Well said.
keep working hard, believe in yourself, and don't believe in the people that don't believe in you because they have no they don't know what they're doing themselves. Just leave it at that. Samp and
said.
Chance are out. We'll be back Thursday. Caleb Platt is fighting this weekend. The Charlo brothers are back in action this weekend.
Yeah.
We're going to cover all of that, and we're going to talk to Chance Michaels about the boxing pool and how he's doing in that, and so much more in the next episode of Samp and Chance. So, guys, have a great week, and we will see you Thursday. Samp and Chance are